Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio, and today's watercolor is part of another hashtag event. This hashtag event is hashtag CAC fan art, and I'm sure that's going to be interpreted in a bunch of different ways. But when I think of fan art, I think of fan fiction, which is people that are fans of certain books. They write stories about them. And fan art, I think you like a story or a movie, you're going to create art around that story or the movie. So this watercolor is going to be Hogwarts, one of my favorite books. I have a lot of favorite books. I read a ton. So I had done the sketch before starting the video just because I wanted to save a little time, and it was hard to see me draw it anyway, so I figured I would save the time and we just go straight into the watercolor. So I'm creating a sunset or a almost night sky with some yellow watercolor and some red, and we're going to just put that on, and then I'm going to add some blue to make it nice and dark and mysterious. My paper got really wet, and so it started to ripple a little bit, so I didn't want it to create odd puddles. So I do tilt it every once in a while to get it to run sideways so I don't have pooling in the areas where it rippled. I probably put a lot more water on there than I needed to, and that was what was going on with that. And I do tilt it here a couple of times. See, like that. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I do tilt it back here for a second so you can kind of see. Or maybe it's the next time I tip it. That's a little Payne's Gray. I wanted to get it even darker. I felt the sky was too light. So here's where I'm like, here you go, you can see this part. Not in focus, but at least you can see what I'm doing. I'm just streaking it across, really. So more about the hashtag event. It is running from September 14th through the 18th, I believe. And if you put hashtag CAC fan art in the search bar on YouTube, you'll find lots of videos inspired by the words fan art. I do know some people are going to be painting on fans. I saw some comments about that. So it'll be interesting to see what everybody does. And now I'm just trying to get some mountains in the background, keeping them kind of purple so they look like they're back there a ways. And I'm actually using this one here is my glue brush, which is really stiff, and just kind of scraping it. And I wanted it kind of misty looking, so I think I go over it and you lose that effect on here. But I was just doing it to kind of scrape it back to white almost, and I used that technique in a couple of other areas too. It's a good thing it was thick watercolor paper, so I didn't go all the way through the paper. And I've just added some more dark to my blue color so that it looks closer up. Here I'm doing that again with my stiff brush. Just trying to blend it out at the bottom. image of the castle, Hogwarts Castle, I got from the internet, and it's kind of modified a little bit. But it had a lot of towers and turrets and roofs. So I tried to get the feel for it in this one, even though it's not exactly like one of the versions in one of the movies. See me switching brushes a lot. That's not like me. I usually paint the whole thing in one brush. Trying to create some random trees or foliage. So here I try to create some figures. You'll have to tell me if you think they look like Hermione, Harry, and Ron. I think one of them's head got a little too big. Haven't decided if it's Harry or Ron. Probably Harry, because he had bushy hair, right? I think you can tell which one's supposed to be Hermione. I've got to put some owls in the sky. They look like owls anyway. Some chunky birds. Do at least one with his wings going the other direction, and that's so hard to get it to look good. I don't think it looks too bad though. And then we'll get some small ones back here in the distance. Trying to get my silhouette to look a little darker. At least around the edges. Just try and straighten my edges a little bit. Trying to lift some of that dark smudgy off. So I just wet the paper and then blot it with the paper towel. That lifts it a little bit. Call this the unveiling. Even though you can see the whole thing, it just does something to have that white border around it. It just feels framed. I don't know. Looks more finished. But after I take that off, I decide you really can't see where the water meets the land. It's not really defined. So I take my white Signo pen and just kind of go along the edge of the water. That to flow on the watercolor, just to kind of define that edge, help it look a little bit more like water. There we go. Well, I hope you liked that. If you did like it, please hit like, feel free to share, and I'd love to hear your comments. Don't forget to put hashtag #CACFanArt in the search bar to find more art, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.